We now are going to move into our next panel, and we have are going to continue on this whole idea of youth and change. And so Ross Martin, who's the Executive Vice President of Scratch, is going to lead us in a discussion with Cynthia Germanotta, who's the co-founder and president of the Born This Way Foundation. And so welcome, both of you. Thank you very much. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Which button do we?
I don't know. We're going to figure out the buttons first.
Okay. So this is so awesome. Thank you guys for having us here. This is an incredible opportunity. We're going to be up here for only a few minutes, so we're going to jump right in. And if you have questions or want to follow up with Cynthia, she'll be available right after during the coffee break, so I encourage you to do so. Lady Gaga. So we all know her, or we feel like we know her, your daughter, and the Born This Way Foundation, which by now all of us have heard of. So how did the Born This Way Foundation begin?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. We are the new kid on the block in this room in the philanthropy world, so really excited to be here, Ross. And the idea was really wholly conceived by my daughter. As her career evolved, she really built a connection with youth, within her fan base. And I don't know if any of you have ever been to a concert, but her concert, she calls it the greatest party on the planet. And there's an ongoing dialogue, there's an ongoing conversation that she has with youth about her own life and the many struggles that she went through. And if you've read in the media, there have been a lot. And she formed this connection with youth. They kind of took that moment in your life, you have a sigh of relief, like, oh, wow, if that happened to you and you overcame it, then I have more courage and I have, more bravery. So long story short, it really happened on a plane ride that she and I had back from Europe early last year. And we had always talked about doing something in the philanthropic world together. She had said, Mom, when the time is right, I really want you to help me, start my own charity. And we're flying back on this plane. We'd had some really powerful moments in the concert, a lot of cries for help from youth, a lot of tears that were shed, that we dried. And we're flying back on this plane, and she said, you know what, Mom, it's time. And I said, time for what? I mean, we really weren't even talking about this. And she said, it's time to form, or actually time to continue this movement. I mean, this is more of a movement than it is a foundation. It's really about taking an incredible connection that was already there and expanding upon that. And from that, so the foundation was actually an organic evolution. We didn't really have to think about what our core mission was. It really evolved from the connection with the youth.
And so if you had to describe for the room what the mission now is, how would you define the mission of the Born This Way Foundation?
The mission, the Cliff Note version is, building a braver and a kinder society by empowering and inspiring our youth. And I know that sounds like a very tall order. We're talking about behavior change, but we're really rooted in research, and research, has really proven that kind of the key around that empowerment is having adult and peer support and wonderful media messaging about youth empowerment. So we really feel that we're on our way to that.
Yeah, and all of the work that you've done to date, all of the preparation for the foundation's launch, and all of the research and insights, you've used to develop a very specific model for the foundation to reach its goals.
Right, exactly. And the model is really rooted in a tremendous amount of research. I mean, we did a lot of listening. I spent, personally probably a good 9 months traveling the country, listening, talking to, foundations and to youth. And so really the pillars of our foundation are around what we call SSO, which are safety, skills, and opportunities. And to empower youth, really first you have to create a safe environment for them, not necessarily in the literal sense, but safe in terms of feeling confident in themselves, like these young women that were just up here, inspired by their peers. And that will follow into skills that we hope to provide them to actually give them some tools to be effective in society. But we think that would fall short if we don't also carry on and provide them opportunities to actually be respected and valued for who they are and be functioning contributors and valued members of society.
So there are a great many foundations and other organizations, local and national, big and small, who work on the same or similar issues. How is the Born This Way Foundation different?
I think we're different because, can you hear me? Like, I don't know when to push this in that or not. Okay. We're different because we've created what I would call an open tent approach. We are new at this. We don't profess to know everything, and we really don't want to know everything. I mean, we intend to leverage best practices of other organizations. You know, think of us a lot, there was a lot of talk this morning about open sourcing, so think of us as a portal, if you will. And we'd like to actually leverage the best practices of your organizations and have you plug into what we think we bring to the table to reach this goal together.
So speaking of other organizations and partners, you've already welcomed a bunch in, or a few in, Viacom being one of them. Our CEO at Viacom, Philippe Demon, is as committed and passionate and dedicated as you are, as we are, to the movement. And as you know, he's all in, and Viacom doesn't go small. Across all of Viacom's brands and all of our platforms, in our portfolio, we have what's called Via Community, which is our shared community with our audiences around the world, where we're engaged everywhere in channeling the power of Viacom for good. We call that Via Community, and it is our umbrella pro-social movement inside our company. And our partnership with you on Born This Way Foundation already has some of the greatest creative talent in our company, working very hard to find ways to creatively amplify, spread, connect, engage the messages of the Born This Way Foundation. What else do you have planned?
We have a lot of things planned, and I mean, in the interest of time, though, let me mention two. We're about to embark on a national tour, if you will, I mean, my daughter basically said, hey, Mom, you know, I've got all these buses and trucks on my tour. Let's just add another one. Let's add a Born Brave bus. And so we've created this amazing concept that we've spent a lot of time working on. We're still working on it, and we intend to travel the country with her tour and engage a community. So let's say we come into New York City. You know, the objective is to really engage the youth, civic leaders, organizations within a community, youth within a community, and plant some seeds so that when that bus pulls away, we've impacted and left some empowerment and some very measurable objectives behind to continue to grow that engagement in the community. So that's one. The other, I'll just very briefly say, I heard a lot of talk about education today, and we love that. But we feel that a lot of education is focused on academia and not on the social emotional learning aspects of youth. And they will continue, thank you, continue to be disempowered if we don't address that. We think it's incredibly important and critical. So we intend to spend a lot of time on that. We've engaged some wonderful research partners, and we intend to make that a really core focus of the foundation. So those are two ways. Would love to talk to any of you on those fronts.
So I know there are a lot of people in the room who would love to follow up with you and get involved in the campaign and in the movement. Who else has already jumped in to partner with the Born This Way Foundation? So
I'll mention what we call our founding fathers, which are the MacArthur Foundation. And you know, each of our founding partners and any partner moving forward, they bring something to the table. These are the best practices that we talk about, leveraging that overlay our mission. And MacArthur brings to the table the whole digital media and learning of youth. So it's been a great partnership on that front. the California Endowment on the health and the wellness aspects. We've tapped into Harvard, their research component. We continue to have an ongoing youth as well as a research advisory board where we vet all of the programs, or I should say stuff. My daughter tells me that programs is too stuffy. She's like, Mom, don't, talk about, make it cool. So we talk about the stuff we're going to do. So those are really our founding partners, but again, everyone brings to the table, and I can't speak enough about Viacom bringing the wonderful research and media reach that you have as well.
So last but certainly not least, why is this so important? Why is the foundation, why now? And what's at stake for young people everywhere?
What I think's at stake is all of us, not just us, missing a tremendous opportunity to help the leaders of our future, and that's our youth. My daughter has built an incredible base of followers. To build a movement, you need a constituency, which we have, and a voice. And she has said to me, to our partners, use me. Please use me and use my platform. So I feel if we don't take advantage of that, all of us lose an opportunity, because we have the ability to mobilize a tremendous pool of youth resources who are very invaluable to us. And we don't want to wait till youth are 18 when they can vote and they graduate college, and that's when we think they're important. We want to get them very, very on in their life. So I think we miss a great opportunity.
Well, thanks to the summit for having us. Thank you to Cynthia for joining us. And thanks to you guys for your interest in the Born This Way Foundation and what we're trying to do. Have a good day.
Thanks so much.